there is a underground computer culture, and I've considered Noisebridge to be the home of that, like on the West Coast, for probably the last 10 years.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast, and every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing.
I'm on my way to one of my favorite places here in San Francisco. It's sort of like my second home when I'm here. I can't wait to show you guys. This is Noisebridge. It's a 5,000 square foot hackerspace in the middle of the Mission. And it's one of the places I most look forward to when I come back to SF. It's one of the big reasons I'm now a nomadic hacker and filmmaker instead of continuing to be a Silicon Valley startup guy. It's fundamentally changed who I am and how I approach the world, and I love it to bits. So what is Noisebridge? Noisebridge is a hackerspace in the middle of the Mission District in San Francisco. It was one of the first hackerspaces in the US. Anybody can come here to make things, take things apart, take a class, teach a class, and meet other like-minded people. Let's take a quick tour of the space. We have our library, and we have a pretty cool electronic music station. This big room behind me is the Hackatorium. People just generally hang out and work on projects. Behind me are 3D printers. Over here, we have our electronics area, graced by Nikolai Tesla and Margaret Hamilton. We have all sorts of good stuff in here. We have a microscope that I brought back from China, and soldering supplies and whatnot, oscilloscopes and test gear. Over here, we have our electronics components area, which is great for when you need that one part and you don't want to wait on the mail. Because we don't have markets here that we can just pop over to like we can in China. This is the sewing area. So we have a bunch of industrial sewing machines. We have a serger over here. This is very well used in our space. This is our dirty shop. So this is mostly woodworking. Anytime you're gonna make a mess, this is a good place to do it. We have 2 workshops. We have the Turing room and then the church room down there, and we people work out of there, but also it's places we teach classes and whatnot. Here is my favorite part. This is the Sparkle Forge, and the Sparkle Forge is where we have our giant laser cutter, our welding area and hot shop back there. We have a MIG welder, and then we have a kiln in the corner, a mill and lathe for metalworking, small CNC mills along the back wall here. We've got 2 of them. We have the hack shelves. These are shelves of parts and discarded things that people can grab and use in their projects. In the corner here, we have a big green screen and VR area. So that's a brief tour of the space. I forgot to show you a couple things though. Let's walk back over this way. You might have wondered what this giant lit up LED thing is, and this is our Flaschentaschen. So I helped make this. I sourced the LEDs in China. We had them custom made. But the individual pixels in this are all beer bottles. They're all Corona beer bottles. It took a whole bunch of people to design and put this thing together, and we made it for Maker Faire 2 years ago. It's a really fun thing. You can program it from any computer in the space in any language you would want. I've shown Star Wars on it. We had a Star Wars screening. It's 35, but ultimately, Noisebridge is about the people. It's about the community. And so I'll let some of them tell you a little bit about what they think Noisebridge is and why they think it's cool.
My name's Catherine, and I live in San Francisco, and I love Noisebridge. I think the word hackerspace maybe has like a variety of meanings to different people. So like people in San Francisco, I'll say hackerspace.
Hacking, the way we define it at Hackerspaces, is nothing to do with what most people think of when they hear that word. That's just illegal activity, but we're not doing illegal things here, we're doing positive things. Hacking, the way we use the word, is the original definition is defined by people at MIT, which is seeing the world full of resources, making use of them to make our projects better, see what works, what doesn't, learn from that, and share with one another.
Noisebridge is a place where if you're interested in some sort of technical or artistic project, or the intersection of the two, you can come here and you can find a community of people that likes to work on that sort of stuff.
It's one of many hackerspaces, and hackerspaces are places that are physical places with a community for people to come together and encourage each other to explore and do whatever the individuals there think are cool things to do. You know, hopefully things they really like and maybe even love, things they find personally meaningful.
My name's Steve Young. I'm a software developer and a scientist and an occasional musician.
It's very challenging to talk just about what Noisebridge is in the abstract. You know, it's a bunch of people that get together at a place and do stuff and hack on stuff.
Why was it negative when it didn't go negative before? My name is Lee. I'm doing modular synthesizer stuff, but in the computer where they belong. Well, you kind of have to see the screen. So this is a computer, but this is a representation of literally this, which we have not obviously populated with things. There are things here in the computer that do the same things as the things we will eventually have here, but sending them out of this digital to analog converter via control voltage. This is an LFO. If I disconnect it, you won't hear the thing anymore, which I disconnected in the computer screen because it's physically sending that out of this like connector to this, which is an oscillator. I made computers be modular synthesizers. That's cool.
Awesome.
I made this bag.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's this PVC oilcloth and Gorilla Tape and duct tape, and this is cashmere. My name is Bullet D. Bourbon. Yeah, I'm gonna rule the world one day. I'm just like getting ready.
Sweet.
And now I'm making shorts for sailing. A lot of times like, I get clothes that are not quite right. So I can alter them, or if I like something and they've fallen apart, like these awesome used to be shorts, I can just take their patterns, copy a pattern, and make new ones.
I did want to learn how to do some casting, and I still do. I've done a few test casts, but I've been very busy, so I haven't had a lot of opportunity to explore the area as fully as I would want to. Yeah, my name's Trent. Day job is a Python programmer and a web developer. Before that, I worked as an analytical biochemist. I worked at a couple different places, but decided that I didn't want to keep doing that anymore. So I decided to write code instead. I got married last August 2016, and I really wanted to cast a wedding band for my wedding. So I thought, why not do that at Noisebridge? We didn't have any materials for that, and I didn't know how to do it. So I looked up a bunch of videos online, found a number of things, propane, oxypropane torch, kiln, a whole bunch of like casting supplies, just tons of stuff that you need in order to get up to a really high temperature and pour metal into a plaster mold. The finished product, I did have to have Shapeways cast it, but it's right here. They successfully did that, so I designed that on a computer, and then Shapeways was able to cast it for me. They actually did use the same casting process that I used, but they have a lot of practice.
And so was the plan to make your wife's wedding ring as well?
No, she wanted to do something else for hers, so that was cool. You know, she wants to do her thing. I want to do mine.
So I used to teach these bike lights workshops, which I love doing, but I need to find a better way of doing it because actually, you know, I was snooping around on the list and someone else is teaching a bike lights workshop, and that makes me really happy.
Yeah, Victoria's doing it.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So the end goal was basically to be like, we have all these smart people riding around with tender brains and little skulls, and we should protect those with lights. So it keeps you safe, it gives you a way to learn soldering, it gives you a creative outlet and a way to like make your own bike look awesome and be sort of an extension of yourself in a way that I think is very personal. So like when I have cool lights on my bike, I ride my bike a lot more, partly because it's safer and partly because it just feels awesome. And so I wanted to bring that to more people, and especially my aims with it were to keep the cost as low as possible, to engage people in soldering, but hopefully not too much, and to give them safety. Hi, I'm Merlin. I'm that Merlin. I travel a lot. What I do is projects and tutorials and videos, mostly about IoT technology and mostly relating to like bikes and brains and music and robots and stuff.
Right now I'm putting together kits, electronic kits, parts and bags with a board, and anyone of any skill level, even if you've never made anything before, can build these kits. I make them all for beginners, but cool enough for many people that they'll want to make them anyways. This one will, when you solder it together, will be a music synthesizer, little board and keyboard, and play lots of interesting sounding music. And for people who want to, they can learn about digital signal processing, which is how computers make sound. And well, that's one thing digital signal processing can do, and that's what you can learn by looking at the documentation from this kit. My name is Mitch Altman, and one of the founders of Noisebridge, probably most well known for inventing and manufacturing and selling a keychain called TV Be Gone that turns off TVs in public places. But I go around the world giving talks and workshops and teaching people how to make things with electronics.
Hi, my name is Silver. I am an artist who uses fabric as a medium. I upcycle, so I like buy clothes on the streets, or people like donate me their clothes that they don't want anymore, and then I make it into something new.
Hi, I'm Jay, and I love Noisebridge, and I love teaching at Noisebridge. Since Mitch has been traveling the world so much, I kind of took over his Circuit Hacking Monday class, and now I spend my time doing that, teaching for in and outside of Noisebridge, and actually helping anyone that wants to teach a class or do an event at Noisebridge make it happen.
Like I teach the laser cutter class, not just the regular one, but sort of, you know, if people want to grab me and learn how to use the laser cutter, I'll teach them. I've been teaching the Haskell class. I've tried to get speakers in to like have cool talks and stuff. I think my first official day here, I actually like helped put up, what was it, like sheetrock in the Sparkle Forge, and I helped paint the Sparkle Forge. Like literally the first day I was like, I don't know what to do, what should I do? And I think you were like, or maybe Jared was like, here, would you like to paint it all? I'm like, okay.
I've learned so many things that I would never have learned if I wasn't in this diverse community full of amazing people, like how to use a laser cutter and make all sorts of cool things, and how to become really good at using industrial sewing machines, and growing mushrooms, and all these things that I learned here that I probably would never have made the time to learn if I was elsewhere, and I'm really glad I learned, and yeah, it feels great.
We're run by volunteers, and nobody's in charge, which means everybody's in charge to run Noisebridge collectively. And while this seems really messy from the outside and often from the inside, in practice, it's incredibly robust.
All spaces are unique, but we're unique in that we're an anarchist space, and not many are. Usually they're more traditional nonprofits. But anarchy for us is people self-organizing to make all the cool things happen. When anything happens at Noisebridge, it's because people just do it by following our one and only one rule, which is be excellent to each other. And we only have one rule, which makes us sort of unique as well.
We found that if everybody follows this one rule, and we constantly talk about what being excellent means, that all other rules are a subset of that rule. And by continually reevaluating what being excellent means, it allows us to be flexible and to adapt to each new situation in ways that are more robust than having a rigid set of rules.
So, I mean, whatever you want to work on, you know, as long as you're not having a bad effect on somebody else, then you should come here and make it happen.
we're trained in our lives, especially as little kids all the way up through school, to not do anything unless explicitly we're allowed to. And if we think there's any kind of whatever, we have to ask permission and maybe we won't get it.
It's like people are a lot of times looking for someone to give them like a set of rules about some place. Or, you know, it helps them define like boundaries, what they can and cannot do when they're there, or like what their activities are.
I think most people don't understand that you can hack actual Noisebridge. Like, people come here to work on stuff, and they come to hack at Noisebridge. But Noisebridge is a really hackable environment. You can paint a mural on a blank wall, and there are several blank walls right now.
You don't have to ask permission, and it's discouraged to ask permission. Everything's done here because of duocracy, and what's what we call it here and at other hackerspaces. If you want to do something, you think it's cool, if you don't think other people will object, then you just do it.
You can repurpose a room entirely, temporarily. And if it catches on, you can repurpose it permanently. That's fine.
We want people to organically take leadership roles when they're needed. And as long as that person's respected, they sort of lead a project or whatever. When the project's over, there's no need for a leader for the project, so now that person has time and energy to do other things. This is something that a lot of people are surprised about when they first come to Noisebridge.
Most places you go, somebody's running things. And Noisebridge, people are running things, but the group of people changes over time, and the people who are busy and not busy, it becomes different. Once people start to meet other people, they realize, oh, this is everybody. This is who's here. And they start to come here regularly and see, oh, like, if nothing's changing, or like these few things are changing, and these few people are changing them, there's nobody behind the scenes. Nobody's coming to check on things and make sure, except the people that I already met.
We're funded entirely by donations, which almost always come from individuals in relatively small amounts.
We get more in every year than we spend, and we've got many months of operating expenses in the bank. It's working well for us.
I call it my main, or one of my main communities right now. Community is something that, as growing up, I took for granted because, I went to school, then I went to college, and then I got out of college and I didn't go to a typical job. I went to a job where I just worked with a few people, and it really felt like my culture had been stripped away from me by society, kind of. Where are we supposed to go? I guess we're supposed to find other interests and clubs and stuff, or maybe just hang out with people at our work. But I didn't work at a big place, right? So it was great that there was this community space that I could come to and participate in and hang out with like-minded people.
I'm from SoCal, and I found my way up here, and I fucking hate it, but Noisebridge is what's kind of keeping me grounded. I like to keep to myself when I'm working on things normally, because it's bad mentality, so always be like, oh, it's my creativity, I'm gonna keep it to myself. But here I feel like I'm more open, and it's good because it's helping me grow.
Yeah.
And I get to learn new things in a way. So it's just, I feel like I'm opening up a little bit more as a person.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love coming to Noisebridge because it's like the meeting of the minds. There's so many people that know vastly different things that I'm interested in, and I like doing things that challenge me. So I love to do things that I know nothing about, and this is a great place to start since there's so many experts that really just hang out here, and it's like a casual environment to ask really complicated questions and get a variety of answers. So anything involving technology to making furniture, you can really do it yourself here.
Noisebridge has really changed me as a person. It has affected me significantly, and it's changed me in ways that will that literally cannot be undone. And Noisebridge is now part of me. Noisebridge is going through some changes as well, and I want to give back as much as I can, and I want to ensure that Noisebridge survives and that the culture of Noisebridge lives on forever, if possible.
It's a place where I feel way belonging, part of something really positive that's bigger than myself, that I can contribute to, and that gives back even more than I give, no matter how much I give, and I give a lot. and it feels great to be able to share in that way and to receive back from everyone else sharing in their ways. So I always, part of why San Francisco is home for me is because I have Noisebridge as a community that's always here when I come home. Oh, it's beautiful chaos, you know, like my ideal work condition, like I could be at home right now doing all of this, but I choose to do it here even though there's all these distractions, but because of these distractions, and they're positive distractions, and it takes longer, maybe I make some mistakes that I have to fix because of the distractions, but in the end, I feel so much better about doing everything I do when I'm doing it here. Sometimes I just need to be at home and focus on whatever, like if I'm writing, but doing something like this, I definitely want to do it in Noisebridge. Whatever, there's all this people doing things, and it's just really cool for me to be in an environment where all these different creative people, intelligent people, friendly people are doing all their own thing individually, collectively. Yeah, it's just this is a way cool environment.
This place has so much history in it, and so much. It's such an icon. Like you hear people from all over the world being like, "Oh, I met Mitch in Sri Lanka, and he gave me a key. Here I am." You're like, "Okay, sweet."
We teach free classes and have meetups just about every day of the week, and are open at pretty much any reasonable hour to anybody who rings our doorbell.
I mean, I think that there's like a strong feature of Noisebridge, which is its publicness, right? It's like that sets Noisebridge apart even from other hackerspaces, right? Is the fact that it's so open. Anything to restrict who can come into Noisebridge, I would just immediately block that. I'd be like, look, that completely changes what it means to be Noisebridge.
Yeah, so Noisebridge, as an early hackerspace in the US, has been a model for a lot of people to come and visit and see how we do things. There's thousands of them around the world now. When we started Noisebridge in 2007, there were like less than 50, we're not sure how many. But they're all unique, and we all help each other, and we all, hackerspaces around the world all help each other, and we help new people wanting to start hackerspaces, to start their own communities.
Noisebridge could be worth the trip to San Francisco in itself, just to come and see Noisebridge and see what it's all about and talk to people and come to a Tuesday meeting. But don't be afraid to do this too. Like, it's worth the effort and it's worth the energy to meet interesting people and to build cool stuff and to really, hack, the way that we do stuff.
So you might be asking yourself, how do I come to Noisebridge? The answer is that everybody's welcome, really. Check out the link in the description for how to get here, and as long as you come any reasonable hour of the day, somebody will be here to let you in and give you a tour. And as long as you can obey our one rule, which is to be excellent to each other, you're welcome to stay and use whatever equipment you'd like, hang out, fully participate in the community. I'm Scotty with Strange Parts. Hit that subscribe button down below, and stay tuned for more adventures. I'll see you next time.